So I actually went through the hell of putting myself through the entire game of Mixtape, from the beginning all the way to the end. So I'm going to be giving you my complete thoughts on it instead of blindly hating on the game. I will say, while recording this video, almost the entire game had to be muted in order for me to feel safe to post it to YouTube, because I felt as if I left it unmuted for any length of time, I was going to be hit with the fattest copyright strikes ever. One thing I was thinking to myself when I first started playing this game was the intro cutscene had me cringing really hard. The writers are trying way too hard to relate while also trying to push the story forward, and it just came off as totally cringe. Not one part of playing through this game was not cringy to me, and if it wasn't the game being super cringe, the game was compiling shaders for like 30 seconds every time I went to launch the game. Now, I will be 100% honest, it wasn't just me playing the game. I had my girlfriend playing through chunks of the game, like you're seeing here, because I just couldn't be bothered to force myself to play something this easy, while I knew that she would actually have a half decent time, so at least someone was getting something out of it. But even she had a hard time enjoying the game because it consists of hand-holding and zero freedom. You can't do anything that's off rails, and I mean anything. You can't choose a single dialogue option. You can't go a different direction even for half a second without being pulled back by this rewind mechanic that puts you in the original spot you were just in. It's literally holding your hand to the highest degree. You are incapable of failing. You are incapable of making a decision the developers don't want you to make, and you are incapable of playing the game the way you want to play it. Now, giving credit where credit is due, this game is genuinely beautiful, and while playing through it, I couldn't help but take in the sight as I looked around and rode my skateboard, or as I walked through the house of one of my friends. But without further ado, let's continue to get on it. For a game that's on rails as Mixtape is, it's throwing me off that there's fourth wall breaking where the characters speak to me and explain the plan of bringing their mixtape to a label. The main character you're meant to use as the vessel to your experience, Stacy, is insufferable, and for whatever reason thinks she's special enough that she's going to be famous by bringing a collaboration of songs burned onto a CD. Even my drunken stepfather was able to burn CDs, and she thinks she's gonna be some hot shit. It really frustrates me because they could have went with anything more cool than that. She could have been like a singer in a band or a guitarist, but no. She just burns CDs into discs. I know I said this earlier, but I genuinely thought the reviews were sort of exaggeratory at first until I actually spent like about an hour playing this game. I can't help but to feel awkward by how cheesy the writing is. It's really throwing me off. The way the characters are written are very detached and were obviously made by people pushing their 50s or even 40s. And if I'm wrong and they aren't 40 or 50 years old, then they're just bad writers. And it's very sad because I see points of this game where there is potential to make these characters likable, and then it's followed by some cookie cutter one-liner that makes you recoil from how flabbergasted you are at the atrocious writing. What the f is this scene, by the way? I don't think anyone ever wanted to play through this. It was genuinely gross to have to operate these tongues during this scene. It's like the developers forgot these were teenagers, and this scene just really put me off and made me want to throw my screen out the window. Yes, this is actual gameplay, by the way. I forgot that I was even playing a game and thought we were genuinely watching another cutscene, but there was nothing important enough here to distinguish that I'm actually supposed to be playing now. But even as I continued to play, I realized I was just a vessel to walk to the next cutscene. It's like finding the next video on YouTube is how I would describe it, where you're browsing through the related videos tab and you're clicking on the next one. You're not necessarily playing the game, you're just walking to the next cutscene. Speaking of the cutscenes, the interactive cutscenes are kinda lacking any agency or purpose, like pressing A, X, or B to rock out, which lasts a solid minute with no variation in either button. So you're just sitting here watching, but with a little mini game to go along with it. So I spent this time spamming the button to see how fast I can make my characters bob their heads. Every time I thought I saw it all during my playthrough, it continued to blow my mind. The entire shopping cart segment is entirely scripted. You are forced to watch this, and you're given the option to interact with the shopping cart. However, no matter what you do, no matter what direction you hold, it makes zero difference. And if you fail, like I said, you are just rewound to the original position. So at one point during this part, I just let go of my controller completely and I watched my characters complete the entire mission without me. This required zero input, but it's acting as if it wants my input. if that makes any sense. Like, why couldn't this have just been another cutscene? I don't understand why this is here. Is this the game? Is this really all you have to offer in terms of gameplay? Why didn't you just make an animated series? Why couldn't this have been a couple episodes on Netflix? Oh, right. I forget. When there is any ounce of gameplay that matters and has any sense of control, it's a f***ing chore. I can't tell you the amount of gameplay parts of this where you're just looking through a drawer, filling up a water bottle, putting batteries into a camera, shuffling around through a mixtape, filling up this slushy. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a part where I have to wipe my own ass or put on clothes. It's so uninspired. The types of games you get to play on this, you can just open up your browser and play like Papa's Pizzeria if you wanted to do some chores. The best character written in the game is Slater, the teenage boy that's part of the friend group of girls. It's because he was written as if to be self-aware of his own corniness, while everyone else is way too serious and trying way too hard to be edgy. He just fits in effortlessly. He's like a surfer bro that says brah and knows it's bad, and I really like that for him. In fact, if the game just cut out the two other characters and explored Slater, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. One thing I wanted to mention before we get to another part later is that our character Stacy likes to hate on things for no reason other than being a pissed off teenager. There's this one character named Jenny Goodspeed who's genuinely nice to Stacy, but Stacy holds this grudge against her because her friends actually like this person, and she's filled with jealousy. And we're supposed to act like we can relate to this, and that we understand where she's coming from. But I genuinely have never been that kind of a shitty friend before. So, you know, take the L, Stacy, and accept that no one else dislikes her but you. Oh my god, how long am I gonna be walking for? It's like I almost want the sweet relief of another cutscene because the gameplay makes me want to fall asleep. And we are still walking, and it seems as if the background is moving. I see what they're trying to do here, and I almost like it. This is supposed to make you feel free, like how you did as a kid, running through the field with your homies. So lightweight and free from the burdens of working a normal 9 to 5 and doing adult stuff that no one likes. But after walking around for the last 10 minutes, I failed to find this enjoyable because now we're jogging with the jump involved. Oh yay, we're skating again while Stacy gives another terrible monologue. What you're seeing here is Cassandra explaining to Stacy and Slater why she wants to be friends with them. But because you can't hear it, I'll just explain it to you. Because there's literally not a second where there isn't copyrighted music. Basically, they became friends because Cassandra's dad pissed her off. Cassandra's dad said that those two were a bad influence, which, to be fair, they totally are. They do nothing but fuck around. She wants to disappoint her father? Okay, well, I can think of worse reasons to be someone's friend, so you go, girl. Here, Stacy and her friends are chillin', skipping some rocks, and further proving my point that Stacy's just kind of not a good person. She talks about how if she ever gets famous when she delivers this mixtape, she'll never admit that she even lived in this town, thus never admitting she was even friends with these people in the first place. What a dick move, Stacy. That even hurt my feelings. Other than the atrocious controls of this baseball part here, I actually really liked it. It's one of the few scenes that captivate what it felt like to be a teen. Every time you hit the ball, the field was transforming to be larger than it was previous. This was really cool, and it's a shame that there aren't more moments that give me this feeling of nostalgia or awe as I'm playing. It wasn't written like shit, and that's a really big plus for me here. Were you really expecting to play a movie about a couple of rowdy teenagers and not have a scene where we TP the house? It's here, it's mid, just like every other interactive scene, aside from the baseball scene I just mentioned. I say scenes because it's not gameplay. I'm saying scene because they're not gameplay. It is literally the most scripted events that I've experienced gaming. Also, how are we not caught here? We're very obviously crouching away from this guy's house, and he somehow only sees Cassandra who's standing up. I think anyone with half a brain would be able to tell that this was done by multiple people. Stacy's upset because she asked Cassandra to hang out, and Cassandra's choosing to hang out with Stacy Goodspeed instead. And unlike a normal person, Stacy is choosing to stand on the other side of the road and walk away. I would assume because she's actually floating away, but this is just a retelling of her memory. If she were any semblance of normal, she would have walked up and said hello to Cassandra and tried to hang out with them. It's very obvious why her friend Cassandra chooses to hang out with Jenny Goodspeed away from Stacy, it's because Stacy is the one creating the problem and refuses to be a mature person. She has this weird problem where she thinks that she's the only one that's allowed to hang out with her friends, and that her friends are not allowed to have anyone else in their life other than her. And it's just kind of funny, because we're supposed to feel some ounce of sympathy for Stacy here as she floats away, but I can't help but feel none. Why is floating used so often in this game, or to insinuate that there's something deeper happening here? Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. This dinosaur part was genuinely the worst part of this game. There is nothing interesting that happens. You have to walk around this entire park and take a picture of your friends by every single glowing dinosaur. It's supposed to be a beautiful reliving of this memory, but I just wanted it to end. If you played the game, you will understand what I'm talking about. It goes on for way too long. Great, we're riding a dinosaur into the sunset. Just when I thought I was saved from my own boredom by a cutscene, I'm forced to hold my left analog stick forward in order to progress, because this needed me to play the game. This is the gameplay I've been looking for. Thank you. Cassandra's dad is kind of speaking facts. He tells Cassandra he's not gonna pay for her college if she's just gonna mess around, which Cassandra has shown to do the entire game. So I can't help but be on the dad side here, even though I know I'm supposed to be on Cassandra's. All her and her friends do is mess around and make the wrong choices. Hell, I mean, the entire reason Cassandra has these friends is just to spite her dad. I really don't blame him for not trusting her to go all the way to college in another town. You go, Dad. We're throwing a tantrum because Cassandra got grounded and can't come out to the drinking party. I understand we're upset, but like everything else in the game, it's trying to come off as deep, but ultimately barely scratches the surface level. If you take longer than like 10 seconds to find your next objective, it's instantly highlighted for you. There's no sense of exploration, like this paint can here. I didn't see this here until I passed it and it instantly turned yellow, holding my hand and guiding me to the next step. But I was just engrossed in the scenery and I was trying to enjoy the moment. That is then followed by this egregious part where I have to paint a door. Real good gameplay. Again, after you move this annoying couch, Stacy's jealousy issues explode in front of her very eyes, where she's mad at Cassandra for sneaking out and bringing Jenny. It seems like she wants her friend group all to herself, and she's really hurt when she finds out they're gonna go on a road trip without her, because, you know, Stacy's leaving, remember, to go turn in this mixtape? Anyway, she's upset and Cassandra tells her off, rightfully so, because who is she to hog everyone to herself just because she doesn't like Jenny Goodspeed? After a short pity party at Slater's house, we are forced to imagine about what the night could have been with Cassandra, you know, if he weren't a jealous asshole all the time. And I gotta say it, this is one of those rare moments playing the game where I'm like, yeah, I actually think I get it. I get this emotion that they're trying to captivate here. Just a couple friends trying to make the best out of the little time they have left together. And that little bit of praise is quickly ended when I have to control Slater through a movie store wherein he's basically on the verge of pass out drunk. Now, we're running across town because Cassandra's dad pulled up to Slater's house talking about how he knows there's delinquents drinking at the 7-Eleven. So now it's up to us to go warn Cassandra of her dad's eventual coming. But what I find really amusing, before Stacy valiantly sprints across town, she mentions how out of shape she is. I think there's very few people in the entire world that could sprint for this duration of time and be hardcore parkouring over all this furniture, fences, and roofs of houses. And here we have the overly played out, you don't understand your own daughter and you're holding her back with your over-controlling nature type. I have seen this countless times. Wouldn't it have been more amusing if the parents were actually right here? It would have been more characteristic of an actual teenager. But no, of course the dad is blatantly in the wrong because he's a little f***ing crazy. I mean, the dude literally went to Cassandra's friends' houses, shut down the beach party, and is now looking for any other parties that his daughter could possibly go to. And no, I don't want to hear it about his job is to be a police officer type thing, because this is way out of the ordinary. Dude is literally playing a detective for teenager parties. What cop has the time for that? Whoa, it's the popular girl. Because everything's copyrighted, I'll just voice over this for you. Hey, troublemakers, is there anywhere me and my friends could go smoke and do drugs? And of course we know where to go. It's the abandoned house we painted earlier. We're driving on both sides of the road for some reason. There's no way this can get any more stupid. Oh my god. Oh my god. Booyah, we're on top of the world. Party achieved. We're all drinking. We're all hanging out. This is what we've been working for the entire game. We did it. You're on top of the world, Slater. Okay, I'm speed running the ending. Boom. House catches on fire. Cassandra confronts her dad and says if he doesn't let her go to college, she's gonna keep burning shit down, I guess. Now we're flying on top of the world like Peter Pan. Like we haven't done this 5 other times in this game. Alright, cool. Saying goodbye to Slater. Bam, game over. I can't lie though. I'm not a soulless person. The ending did make me a little sad, only because I have to say goodbye to Slater, and over the course of the game, I actually grew to like this character, and only this one character. Alright, that's it with this fuck-ass game. Thanks for watching.